Happy Thursday, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, and tonight we are going to improv piece all the rest of my scraps from my Charming Chevrons quilt. So thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks replay viewers for watching, and thanks YouTube replay viewers for watching as well. I appreciate you guys being here. So thanks for popping in. Last night we finished up this crazy little chevron here from all of the teeny tiny scraps, all the tiny little threads, all the tiny little strings. We turned it into this, which I'm super stoked about. This will go on the back of our quilt. This is the Charming Chevrons quilt by Krista Watson of Krista Quilts. So we've already finished the front of it, and we got that right here. So the whole front are these pretty chevrons, like these pretty zigzags. So I kind of wanted to repeat that on the back, but on the back I want to use up just all the scraps. So this was that first start of the back, using up all the itty bitty scraps. So that was super fun. We finished that last night. Now we have all the kind of larger scraps. So we're just going to improv piece, which basically means we're going to sew one piece to another piece to another piece and see what ends up. We don't have like a plan really. So we'll see how that goes tonight, and we'll just make like some jumbled piece thing, and we can make that part of the back of the quilt too. The whole back is just going to be a little playful. So thanks again for coming, guys. I'm going to flip you around and let's get going for the night. Plop this guy back here. All right, turning you around. All right, we are set up for some improv piecing. I got the sewing machine ready, I got the cutting board ready, and I do have the ironing board over here. Well, my new wool ironing mat with the cordless iron plopped up there. So, okay. Here is the Charming Chevrons quilt. If you guys wanted to check out that pattern, I do have a link to it. It is super fun. I'm like so happy with mine. I can't wait till we have the whole thing done. All right. Can you make squares for more chevrons? I think I might. So the fun thing with improv piecing is you can cut it. You can just keep sewing together things, and then you can always cut it into squares and shapes and stuff more. So I think I might end up doing some chevrons. So we have a bunch of pieces, it looks like here. I'm just kind of assessing what I got. So all of these kind of seem like the same length. So we could sew all of these together and have like some strips. Maybe do something with the strips. Okay, they're not all the same length. Oh yeah, this is pretty much. So I like that idea, just sewing. Oh, look how pretty those are. Just taking all of these and, ooh, this piece is a little longer. Just all the pieces that are kind of the same, we can sew them into strips. And then we could cross-cut them and do some other fun things with them, maybe. So we do have some pieces that all seem the same length, though. So I think that'd be a good place to start, just sewing all those together. And then we have a bunch of smaller pieces that we could play around with a little bit more, of matching up little things. Here's some more big ones. Let's see what we got here. You like the pearl bracelet ones? Yeah, that's the one. That's the name of the pattern with these big circles on here. This one and this one. All right, these are more long ones. So we do have quite a bit of these. So I'm wondering what we could do with them to make them fun. I mean, we wouldn't have to sew the whole thing together, although that would take up a lot right away, which would be kind of good. Let's see. Let's just start. That's the fun thing about improv piecing. You don't have to have a whole idea. So let's just take two pieces and sew them together. How about that? See what happens. We'll just start sewing. Start sewing. Think later. That's the fun of it. All right. So tomorrow, guys, is the first Friday of the month, and that means it is Finish It Friday. So tomorrow I'm going to be working on my hedgehog quilt some more. Yep, right sides are together. It is the right side. It just kind of looks this one, the color goes through quite a bit. But I have done that before, Paula. Not put the right sides together. It's always something I gotta remember to think about. The right sides together, that just means putting the, basically the pretty sides, the front side of the fabric together, facing each other. Can you make chevrons from all the strips sewn together? I kind of think so, Glennis. Like, we could make a few strips and then, like, cross-cut them and make some squares out of that. That could be fun. Or we could make, like, one big chevron out of, like, a whole pile of them sewn together. Let's just take 2 more and sew them together. And then so this one isn't actually square. This one's got a little weird angle to it. So maybe we'll just keep playing. Maybe we'll get some of the small ones out, see what we come up with those. That's what I like about improv piecing, though, is that you don't have to think too much. Just start sewing together. See what happens. Ooh, you know what I never noticed before? See that it has kind of like that light teal ring around these flowers? This is almost the same color, so that's kind of cool that these 2 guys are going to be next to each other. We could do like a sort of not like a kind of like a grid. Here, let's sew these guys together. I have an idea that I want to try. Yep, Tracy, this is for the backing. It's just, so I have no plan for the back of my quilt other than I want to use up all my pieces. So, like, I have no design plan. So right now it's use up the pieces and then fill in the gaps, which is most of the quilt, fill in the rest of the space with the red, that main red color that we've been using. Cruising down the line. All right, I have a little idea that I want to try that I've never done before, but I've seen it, and usually it's done with the same same size strips, but I think I'm going to try it without the same size strips. So let's do something here. All right, so see how we got kind of like this fun, all these guys together going. I'm going to try a thing where where we kind of make like a grid where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next row is like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and then this one, this one, this one, this one. I want to kind of try a thing. So watch this one. Let me know if you've done something like this before. I'm actually going to sew these together like a tube now. Let me know if you know where I'm going with this, but I think this will be kind of fun. And we'll get to play with the seam ripper, which will be kind of fun too. playing around here. That's all what improv piecing is about. Oh, you've done this? Okay, cool. So I've only seen like little tutorials online, but so what you do, okay, so you'll have to yell at me if I'm doing something totally weird because this is just like a vague memory. But so we're gonna have this tube, and then we're gonna cut the tube in a bunch of strips, and then we're going to seam rip different parts of the strip, which is going to make it so that the row starts in different places in each point, and then we can sew them back together. So it sounds a little crazy, but it'll totally make sense in a moment here. And again, it's just, we're having fun here. All right. You've seen it but haven't tried it. Me neither. So I've kind of seen this concept before. I haven't done it at all. But all right. So see how we just kind of made this tube? Ooh, let's snip this guy off. So I'm not sure how the easiest way to do this is, but let's just try and squish it flat. If it's not perfect, then whatever. So I have this tube. I'm going to just we're just going to cut some strips out of here. You know what? I might not even use a ruler for this. We might just straight up, since we're improving, I might just say, who cares, Mr. Ruler? So I'm just going to cut some strips. I'm going to even not care if they're the same size. Let's make a little bigger one here. All right, let's start there. So this is kind of crazy what I just did, right? So we still have these tubes. So what we're going to do now is we are going to we're going to seam rip this apart, but at all different points of this tube. So let's, oh gosh, I feel like I haven't seam ripped in a long time. That's probably a good thing, right? Feels a little funny. All right. Gotta get it started. Oh man, I feel like I'm doing this wrong. There we go. All right, so that's our first strip. Oh man, I totally should have maybe measured. But all right, so now the next one, we aren't gonna separate it in the same spot. I'm going to separate it like the next one over. Just cut the seam off. I don't want to shorten it though at all. But yeah, you could just cut anywhere, couldn't you? We'll do it this way. This is the way that I've seen it done, so. Just have to remember how to use a seam ripper, sheesh. There, that'll do. All right, so see, did I do that at the same place? Oh no, I didn't. So I did it at the next one over. So when we sew these back together, look, we're going to have them going at different places. So that one we did here, then here. So let's do the third place right here. Use a rotary blade. Oh, but very carefully. Seam rip so the seams match. Oh, well, I didn't cut everything the same size or anything, so. So they're never going to match. Oh, I just cut a hole in this one too. Wow, yeah, I'm not dealing with the seam ripper well today. All right, keep making them weird. All right, here's the next one. And last one would be in between here in the strawberry. It can basically just be torn apart, it seems like. I think I'm used to having it laying on the ground for the seam ripping. Okay, so now we can kind of sew those back together in a grid and see what we got. So I could press these, but I'm just gonna I'm not gonna press anything, I don't think. We're just gonna keep going. So I'm gonna sew these two together. Yeah, this is right. Let's just sew. Doesn't need to be perfect. We are just playing around here. All right. This is the top and second row. You totally had to press. I know. I mean, I really probably should press, but oh well. The seams don't have to. The seams aren't going to have to match up or anything. I'm kind of finger pressing them just a tish as I go. We're not quite matched up at the end here, but that's okay too. We're going to just trim this however it's going to be. All right, now I'm going to do the next two rows together. And we'll see what we get here. But if you did measure, like if you measured all these so that the strips were the same size, and so you end up with the same squares, this is like a fast way to make like a 16 patch, you know? You could do it where everything goes together just perfectly. I'm, you know, just doing it crazy, like with weird sized pieces and stuff. All right, let's open this guy up. We got the selvages all in here too. Is this typically used for bindings? No, this is just kind of the leftover stuff. So I would think that people typically would just throw this back into their stash. But instead, I just wanted to use it in the quilt. So you could, in theory, use these for the binding, but typically you'll make your binding from scratch with fresh fabric. So these are just like this, yeah, normally someone would just put this back into their stash, but I want every single fabric used in the quilt somewhere. I don't want to put anything back in the stash, so that's why I'm just sewing, seeing what happens. All right, let's see. Yep, no fabric left behind. That is exactly what we're doing here. So, all right, let's see what we got here. So, all right, so we made kind of a cool little improv-y piece here. I'm down with this. I like it. It's fun. So we'll trim it and play around, but man, we got a whole, like a lot more tube here. So why don't let's just keep going. This can be one piece. Actually, I'm going to let this be. Let's just keep going here. What if we take, we got a bunch of these other little pieces here. What else do we got in here? I'm just going to empty the whole thing right here. What if we, start adding to this somehow? That's always kind of fun. We could sew a couple of these little short ones together, or these ones look maybe a little longer. Sew a couple of these together. And then maybe we'll have enough for the bottom here too. Here, let's sew those three together. Let's see what happens there. You know, I think we're just gonna get a little higher here tonight. I'll go up here like this, and then I won't have to move around quite so much. So we'll just play in both spots here. We're just going to sew quickly and see what happens. We're gonna sew those two together. Let's sew these two together. I'm literally just trying to sew everything together and see what happens. Let's snip this off. Yeah, so I have no rhyme or reason for anything here. I am just gonna kind of finger press this instead of having to stop to iron every single time. All right, I kind of wanted to see if this other piece is big enough to go down. But yeah, this is kind of cool. So I want to make, we still have a whole lot of the tube left, so we could just keep going on that thing. But I thought, hey, we got all these little pieces too. Let's see what we can do with those. Oh, there's a crafty class on making piece backings. Oh, cool. A lot of fun idea. Anything goes. Oh, that's awesome, Lucy. I'll have to check that out. All right, let's just sew these guys. There, we're just making pieces bigger and bigger. That's kind of fun. Finger press that guy again. All right, now I'm getting annoyed by them not being pressed. Let's just get what we did here pressed really quick here. All right. Got to heat up the iron. Yeah, I want to press this guy and our extra little thing here. So like this could go on the end here and we could just keep going really. Or we could just make a bunch of weird pieces like this. And this we could kind of cut square and make into a half chevron too. So I don't know, let's keep playing. I will, let's just cut, while I'm waiting for the iron, why don't we just cut up the rest of these pieces and we'll press them right away too. So same thing, I'm gonna just kind of squish it. And I'm not gonna use a ruler again. That's kind of a fun part about improv piecing. It doesn't have to be all rulered out and perfect. Let's just cut up the rest of this. Ooh, I'm gonna try something else this time, which may be a little bit easier. This is kind of what you mentioned, Lucy, I think. All right, let's do one more. All right, so this time I'm just gonna kind of lay these out any which way. We'll just kind of finger press them wherever. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna do that. Let's take the scissors and I'm gonna just cut wherever I feel like. And we're gonna make strips this way. And we'll press all these and we'll see what we got. Just sew them all back together. No decisions, just doing, right? Kind of a fun way of thinking. All right, so we got more strips here. I think the iron's probably decent now. Let's give everything a little press. All right, got the cordless iron here. Here's that first kind of fun so I'm sure the seams are kind of mashed a little bit, but that's pretty. Oh man, I love all those colors together still. So that's kind of nice. So this doesn't have any of that red in, and I think it would still be kind of like a neat quilt. Man, I want this to be a whole quilt, actually. I love it. Okay, that is cool. I'm digging that. All right, it looks so finished once you press it, doesn't it? All right, let's do this one. Ooh, that too is pretty. Same colors. All right, plop that to the side, and now let's just press all these guys. It will be easier to sew them. I'm just pressing them all to one side. And I'm just gonna pick them up and sew them back together. I'm not gonna care what order they go in. Like this one we kind of went in order, so we got this kind of like grid going a little bit, but this one, let's just sew. We'll sew and see what it looks like when we're done. It'll be a mystery. Yeah, free thinking. So this definitely, I feel like, you know, this has the opportunity, this improv piecing, to just be really stressful, right? Like if you go into it thinking like, oh, I don't know what this is gonna look like together. What if it looks weird and all that? But if instead you think about it more like, who cares? Let's just not think so much and sew it together, and whatever it's gonna be is what it's gonna be, and that's okay. If you go in thinking like that, then it really is relaxing. Like it just lets your brain stop thinking and stop critiquing yourself and everything, you know what I mean? It's just allowed to be whatever it ends up being, and that's, I don't know, feels good. Especially after a long day, it just like turns off the brain for a little bit. Oh, you have this iron, Shirley, you love yours. Oh, awesome. So I purchased this iron, but mine isn't going to be coming till May. And this is a friend, this is a friend's iron, and I'm borrowing it. And oh man, not having the cord, it being cordless, is amazing. Love, love, loving it. All right, got it back on the thing. So now let's just sew all these pieces back together however I pick them up. Don't know if you're that relaxed. Oh, it's fun. Like it definitely is like at first, oh, I don't know if I'm doing this right. What if they don't match up and all that? But once you get going at it, man, it just becomes easier and easier. So I'm literally just not even caring what's matching up now. I'm more excited to see what the result is without thinking. So my pieces aren't perfectly straight, but I'm just kind of moving around a little bit just to see where it ends up. And any pieces that are just too long or whatever, we'll just fix in some other way. I'm curious to see how this one ends up being different than the one that we kind of planned out. No, I haven't had the problem yet with the iron cooling off, but I am putting it back in its base right away. So I think that's been helping. It does turn off in the base after a few minutes, but it seems to heat up really fast. Like I just click the on button again and it seems to be fine. All right, we got 2 more strips here. Ooh, this is a crazy selvage piece. Ooh, was I doing right sides together? Yeah, okay. For a second in there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I did right sides together on anything. We'll start, we'll put these pieces together next. Oops. That seam didn't stay flat, but oh well. You know, it's weird that some of these turned out to be like a lot different in length, and I'm not quite sure how that happened. Oh, I forgot to put my kitty brooches on again. I'll have to remember to do that again, Gretchen. Yeah, I had some kitty brooches that I made on my sweater here, but forgot to put them back on. I washed the sweater and forgot to put the brooches back on. All right, let's get these two together. Ooh, that's pretty. We got a little crossover here. But yeah, this is just like a fun way to just play around, sew some strips together. It does not matter what it ends up being like, you know, it's just kind of fun, free form. All right, let's sew it to this last piece, and oop, I didn't have a starter on that one. Ooh, it's looking fun. Different widths is pretty. Ooh, this one's like the same, in the same position. Maybe I should rotate that one. Let's do it on this side. Yeah. Doesn't matter if the seam allowances aren't perfect. Nothing matters. It's fun. Oh no, Gretchen. That's always a fear of mine. I have some weird fears, but that's one of them, that salad dressing is gonna fly everywhere when I shake the bottle. All right. What do we got here? Oh, that's cool still. All right, so let's give this a press like we did the other one. Get it nice and flat. So this one, we didn't, we just cut every which way to see what happens. Let's see. I'm kind of not pressing in my normal way either. I'm just kind of pressing to press to get it flat. I know, you hate when someone can't put the lids back on. It's so easy, right? Just do it. All right, so this is a nice squarish piece. So we could actually go back and make this into a chevron, or a little half chevron. We could just sew a bunch of half chevrons together. That'd be kind of fun. All right, that's flat enough. All right, I thought I did have a little, yeah, I do. Have a scrap of that red from last night. Maybe we can sew that onto something, or make a half chevron out of it. Give it a little press. Yeah, exactly, Sharon, just making your own crazy quilt. Sharon, I think I have a link to this iron in my Facebook post. It was on Mass Drop for a while, but now it's gone from there. They just have like occasional sales. It is pricey, and that's why I got it when they had the sale on Mass Drop. But I think I have an Amazon link to it too. Let's see, I could make this a little bit shorter, and then we could get a square out of this. Let's just estimate a square. How about that? We're gonna make a half chevron out of this. So I'm gonna estimate a square by just folding it at a diagonal here. You know what, I'm still not gonna use a ruler. Let's go along that edge. All right, here's our square. I want to make another square, but let's do this. So first of all, we got to trim some off. I'm just going to make all sorts of weird half chevrons. Okay, so this we can sew onto a different part. Oh, your hubby bought yours on Amazon. Oh, you're left-handed. Oh, see, that's so nice. Yeah, because it has no cord, and then it has those two edges on the top and the bottom, so you can go in whatever direction you want, really. Here, let's just add to this. I need it to be a square, so let's add this. This is the fun thing about improv piecing. You can just, like, okay, I need a little bit bigger, so here's this piece. I'm going to put this here just so it's aligned, and now let's trim it so it's the same size approximately, right? Now let's sew that together. Just sew and see what happens. Oh, Sharon, the name of the iron, it's a Panasonic. Here, I'll show you guys again. It is here, if you wanted to take a screen grab of it or something. Panasonic NIWL 600. Sometimes it's called the Panasonic cordless 360, and the 360 refers to that it's got points on each side, so you can press in either direction with that little point. So the Panasonic, just like do a search for the Panasonic cordless and 360 together, and you should be good. All right, let's press this again quick. Wow, I'm moving you guys around a lot tonight again. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too crazy dizzy. All right, let's press that open quick. I like this kind of high speed, just sew and see what happens. All right, we're almost square. I do need to trim it a little bit, it looks like. All right, let's get it the same size as our little square that we trimmed out here. So I'm just going to lay it on top as my guide. Whoa, sorry guys. There we go. All right, I'm going to trim a little off there. Actually, you know, I'm not going to worry about that because we'll trim our entire triangle later. So all I'm going to do is trim off some of this excess blue. And now let's make this into the half chevron. So to do that, we're going to draw that diagonal. But look, I already have that fold line, so I don't really need to draw another line. I'll just follow my fold there. So let's sew this together. I'm going to actually, we'll go up here again. All right. So on this side of the fold, of the diagonal, ooh, I kind of can't see it here. We're gonna guess. Okay. And then down the other way. And if it's not perfect, then that's okay too. All right. So now I'm gonna just trim along that line, and you know what? I'm gonna just continue not using a ruler. This one's a little scarier not using a ruler, but we're doing it. It's good practice. All right, so now we have our 2 half chevrons, and we got it all like fun and pieced. So there's that one, or 2 half square triangles that we're gonna make into a half chevron. So there we go. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty. So let's press this. You know, I'm almost tempted to not. Well, yeah, we'll press it. But I think I might not trim it this time. You know, we trimmed them all nice last night, but I think why bother? Let's just leave them. All right, I'm gonna press it towards the red because it's less bulky. We'll just sew. We'll sew instead of worrying about trimming. How about that? We're not worrying about any of that stuff tonight. We're playing. Yep, it's a Panasonic. If you just Google or go on Amazon and go Panasonic. And actually, I do have the link in this post here, I do believe. If I don't, then you can just do a search for Panasonic 360 and cordless, and you'll get there. Okay, woo, I got like red fuzzles everywhere. All right, let's make a half chevron. Yep, living wild and crazy today for sure. So we got to decide what direction we want it in. We could go this way, which I think is cute. I kind of like this strip right here, or we could go. Oh, that's kind of interesting. This almost lines up, but not quite. And then we almost have like these diagonals going, but I think we're going to go the other way. I kind of like the other way better. So let's go there and there. Wait, was that right? Yeah. All right, let's sew that together. We're flooring it tonight on the sewing machine. That's always kind of fun. All right, we got another big half chevron going. We're just gonna have like a whole pile of random half chevrons, I think, on the back of this quilt, which is kind of cool. So let's press this and see what else we can make a half chevron out of. And you know what? It's all right if we cut some more of that red fabric because we're going to be using a lot of that red fabric for the back. And if we have to piece it together, then who cares? So we have a lot of little red pieces. That's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. Okay, but yeah, I love it. So we have this guy. We could try and make another one out of this piece. We can cut this down so it's a little more square. We would have to cut more red fabric, but again, like I said, that's fine. Who cares, right? We can have as many little red pieces as we want. This will actually end up being a little bit bigger of a half chevron than this, so that might be actually kind of cool sewing them together where they don't fit totally. Ooh, I kind of like that idea a lot, actually. Let's try and do that tonight yet. I'm going to shimmy all the rest of these guys out of the way. Let's make this kind of squarish. Again, I'm not going to use any rulers. This is a straight enough edge. Let's get this straight over here. It's actually not very straight, but that's okay. Let's, this seems pretty straight. We'll just trim the rest of this off. Throw that back into scraps. I do want to trim this. It's a weird edge. We're going to try and make it a little straighter. It's a little bloop in it. There, I think that's straighter. All right, so let's get one more nice edge out of there. Nice-ish edge. And then we'll try and make it square. We'll just kind of trim. There we go. All right, let's do that fold again. So we're going to kind of make this as square as we can without thinking too much. Ooh, wow, we're really close to it being square, so we just have to trim these guys off and we should be close enough. All right, so I put a little jog in there, but that's okay. So we're considering this square, so let's get our red fabric out again here. So now this I'd kind of like to pay a little bit more attention to while we cut, but maybe let's just go with it because we're winging things tonight. All right, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fold it in half again. I'm going to unroll it enough so I can fold it in half again this way. I mean, we'll have to clean up the edge when we want to use this red again, but we would have to do that anyway, so who cares? All right, so I have that lined up over here. Here we go. Here's our square. And let's just cut along that square. I'm going to even this out a little bit. There we go. I think that'll do. Man, we're getting weird with this bolt. So I'm going to roll up my giant bolt here again, because that'll give us a lot of red for a little while again. Getting a lot of mileage out of this red. All right, now let's cross cut it. Oh, every once in a while I like putzing around with this. I like getting rid of the rules, Julie. Can't have those all the time. This is way more fun. It's more relaxing. I actually really enjoy this. I was saying the other day how my mom was getting rid of a bag of really tiny scraps, and I just started sewing them together. It's kind of my new, when I just need to relax, just sew a few more pieces together like this, where there's no measuring, where there's no nothing, you know, you're just sewing. So all right, let's get a crease in here again. That'll be the line that I follow for sewing. And we're just making a bigger half chevron. So I want to make this into another half chevron, and I want to sew it to the other half chevron, even if they end up being different sizes. I think that'd be kind of cool. So that's my plan, and I'd love to finish that up tonight yet. So let's see if we can speed through another half chevron. All right, so I'm going to sew on either side of those lines again. So I'll just shimmy over here. All right. And I'm not perfectly lined up or anything with the piece underneath, but I am enough that it's going to be fine. Gunning it again. Ooh. Had a little bulk there. She didn't want to go over it. All right, let's do the other side. This is just a fun way to sew pieces together, and I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a lot done in a short amount of time, but I don't know, maybe we're not. But we're playing. It's relaxing to play. All right, let's see what we got here. So now this should be slightly larger than our last one. It's all crooked, but that's okay. We're gonna non-ruler it again. Just going along that diagonal. All right, let's see what we got. Yep, this is gonna be slightly bigger than the last one. Ooh, but this one's gonna go this direction. Ooh, that's kind of fun, a lot of verticals in there. All right, this is what this one's gonna be, but let's give it a press quick. And then we'll try and get these two together tonight to make an actual V for the chevron. Which means I may have to add a little bit more red onto the shorter piece to even it out. That's what's fun with improv piecing too. All you have to do is if a piece isn't long enough, find another piece to sew on it to make it long enough. And that's exactly what we'll be doing here in a sec. To get this guy going. I feel like my iron might have turned off, but there's enough heat on this thing. There's a tiny little pieces in here, tiny little triangles. It's funny. It's always fun to discover little things. Yeah, man, we sewed all these up, patchworked these all together tonight, and made a half chevron. Oh, we're gonna make a full chevron now, I think. All right, so let's sew these together. So since this one's going this way, I want this one to go the opposite way. Ooh, it's not that much bigger. There, like this. So let's flip those together, and we'll sew that. And let's see what happens. Let's see how much bigger this one ends up being. Shoot, I gotta make sure that I did that right. Yep. Got paranoid. So I like this though. I like that we're just sewing things together and still turning it into a chevrons, because it kind of goes, well, it doesn't kind of, it definitely goes with our whole chevron theme. And I think that's kind of fun, making chevrons, just endless chevrons. Woo, tight there, okay. All right, let's press this, and then we can compare the two together. And I think we'll need to add a little bit of red on the top of this one, but then we'll be able to put the two together. So it'll be like a mismatch. It'll be slightly offset, like a slightly offset chevron, which is going to be kind of neat, I think. Man, and I'm digging this wool mat yet. That is working so well still. Oh, it looks cool. See, I love these little weird, like these little weird matchups that are happening, like these two colors that are close to each other. That sort of stuff I really like. Okay, let's look at the two of these together. Yeah, I can scatter them on the back and they can be all sizes. Exactly, Sharon. I think that's what the plan is going to be. So look, it's totally off, which is what we're kind of going for. Ooh, it's cool though, isn't it? Oh, it's so neat. All right, so we need to add this much something on the top, right? And I think we do have red. Well, this was the same size even. Ooh, we are gonna luck out like crazy here. So, all right, what we can do is we can either add it to the top or we can add it to the bottom. So we gotta see what we like better. Like we can align the top edges. And this can go on the bottom. Ooh, that's kind of fun too. Huh. Do I like it better like that, or should we align the bottom edges? Then the bottom will kind of come to a point. What way do you like better? Align to the top? I think this one's weirder. I kind of like it. Well, then nothing matches up really, does it? I think let's move the right pieces to the left side. Well, we could do that too. We're gonna end up with like the same decisions there. You know what? I think let's have it at least matched up on some level. So let's match it up so that that bottom point matches up. So I'm just gonna add this to the top here, and then we'll balance it out, or we'll just sew them together and see what happens. Like this isn't exactly the same size either, but we'll just trim. But cool, we're gonna be done with this real quick here. We'll have some weird, crazy chevron. So again, what we're doing now is just equaling out the pieces because this one was too short. All right, so now that piece is a little bit longer. Let's even out this because it didn't end up being, it wasn't quite the same size. So let's make it similar again. There we go. And just because we're kind of running low on time, I'm not going to press that. Let's just fold these together and sew. And we're going to have a lot of excess at the top here, and we'll trim that off as well. We're going to have all sorts of crazy chevrons. Kind of love it. My seams are going to be all wacky, but that's okay too. I love this though, because I had no plan for tonight other than to sew pieces together. And now we got a whole, other idea. We got this big chevron thing going. The let's just keep making chevrons idea. All right, I'm just gonna run off the side here. All right, let's check this out. Actually, you have to trim. Let's just trim. Oh gosh, this is crooked. Let's trim this real quick. And again, I'm not going to bother with the ruler. We'll just kind of aim for that 4. There we go. Now we're equalized out again, and here we go. Our kind of wacky chevron that doesn't quite match up. This one's a little bit bigger. So let's press this quick and see what we got. We'll call it a chevron. Call it an evening after this. It really, really is fun to play around like this, though. I'm just having a good time. We're using up fabric. I'm going to use it for the back of my quilt, so it still serves a purpose, and we're just totally playing. Like no plan. Oops, I'm not pressing very well. Getting big creases in. Fun! Yeah, one side's going to be a little fatter than the other too. But yeah, so I mean, we're just gonna have like a bunch of weird chevrons all throughout this quilt, and I think it's gonna be totally fine. So there we go. We have this one, and you know, then next to this crazy one that we did last night, you know, this will be somewhere in the quilt too as another chevron. So we'll just have like some wacky chevron land. Like here, let me show you. Let's get real high here. So we could go, you know, this one could go at the bottom, and then this guy could be like offset all weird up here or something. You know, who knows? And we could just keep going, see what happens. But yeah, now we're even getting like a weird red chevron in there. And then, you know, eventually there'll be big blotches of red and everything. So it'll just be random chevrons starting up and stopping on the back in all different places. So awesome, I'm stoked. I think this turned out super fun and silly. And we did all this tonight, which is crazy to me. I mean, it looks like a ton of patchwork in there. So, all right, guys, I think I will flip you around and I'll show you guys this a little bit closer. Hello, so let me show you guys this. But yeah, again, we're just using up the scraps that we have. But here we go. We made a whole big, huge block tonight, like a totally patchworked block. And it turned out to be like a wacky little chevron there. I love how these bright little blues are kind of popping out all over. Isn't that neat? All right, we're just going with this. So I think every night we're going to just sew pieces together and make chevrons until we've used up all of the back of the fabric. And then when we're done with that, we can lay it all out on the ground, and then we'll know what we can start filling in with red. And we'll just start filling all the blank spots with red until we got, you know, the twin size quilt for the back of this quilt. But yeah, so we have tons of scraps left. Let's just, we'll keep sewing. But tomorrow is Finish It Friday, the first Friday of the month. Or Finish the Thing Spring. I suppose it's almost spring. It might as well be winter here yet. But yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to break out the hedgehog wall hanging quilt that I've been working on, and we'll be sewing on the binding. So if you are curious about how to sew binding onto a quilt, that will be the agenda for tomorrow. And man, we're getting close to done with that hedgehog, so I'm excited for that. So, oh, teaching you free thinking. I totally encourage you guys to give this a try. Just take scraps. You know, there's scraps that you have. There's no like preciousness with scraps, right? And then just start sewing them together. Take two pieces. If one's taller than the other piece, sew another one onto the small piece to make it the same height. Then sew those two pieces together and keep going, and see what you get. Don't even, you know, barely even look at the fabric. Just grab and sew. It really feels like you can feel it in your chest a little bit. Like it feels just relaxing. Like it just when you don't have to make decisions and you just do. It really feels good. So that's what we're doing. We'll pick this up again on Monday, and tomorrow again we'll be sewing that binding on the hedgehog. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Friday tomorrow. Good night.